subconsciously we're trying to cram everything
I think it is, yeah, yeah. Like what they always say, don't they? Every morning, every day above ground's a bonus, but we won't. Yeah. Let's not dwell on that one. I mean, your sort of sound has been sort of an influence to. I can't believe to some of the new bands. Well, I do believe it. I mean, Sum 41, the Hives, and Green Day have all mentioned that you're a major influence on their growing up and their musical development, which is quite a nice compliment.
Oh, yeah, I mean, we're very fortunate if we're doing any festivals that, some of the headlining acts will come over and say hello and say how much the band were an influence on them. So,
yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, it's nice. I mean, you mentioned earlier on that Fergal was with you up until, was it 1983, and he decided to leave the band to have a solo career. And that's when you all decided to call it a day for, was it 16 years?
Whenever we broke up, maybe the next year, a couple of years later, we got a letter from our management saying that there's an offer for the band to reform. And when I got the letter, I couldn't believe the amount of money. I thought, God, there's a typing error on the letter. So I actually phoned Michael, the bass player, and says, Michael, did you get the letter from our management? And he said, yeah. And Michael was really ecstatic. It's like as if they won the lottery.
Yeah.
So we thought, let's reform. So we actually thought that the only person who wouldn't reform would be John, because John would be seen, he wouldn't be seen it doing for the money. Where Fergal, we thought, would have jumped at the chance. And it was the complete opposite. Fergal didn't want to know. And, it would have been like a small nest egg for everybody. So we asked John Peel to persuade Fergal to reform, but he didn't want to know.
No.
And so the next year, another offer with even more money came through. But Fergal declined. And then we did actually reform with Fergal for John Peel's 60th. But unfortunately, that didn't happen because John and Damien's father passed away while we were rehearsing. That didn't happen. And then when the Olympics were on recently there, we were asked if the band could reform for the Olympics. And surprisingly, Fergal agreed to it. But again, that didn't happen either. So, I don't think it's ever going to happen.
No, it doesn't. I mean, because in 1999, when you sort of reconvened, shall we say, put it that way, you replaced Fergal with a gentleman called Paul McClone. I think that's
right, yeah.
And it's always very difficult when you're trying to replace the singer. I think the singer is possibly the hardest guy to replace. But
Fergal has a very distinctive voice. But it probably would have been more difficult if Fergal had been the main songwriter. But the fact that he didn't write any songs, he was just a singer. I don't mean it.
That's not no.
Yeah, but Fergal was the singer, and trying to make a long story very short, myself and Michael would play occasionally with a band called the Saw Doctors, and we managed to persuade, after a couple of years, John and Damien to come down and join us because we were playing in Galway in Ireland, and surprisingly they agreed to do it. And then the next day I was at an REM concert, and I met a guy called Dennis Desmond. MCD is a huge promoter, and Dennis was asking, what was I doing? And I said, well, actually, Dennis, just the other day, myself, Michael, John and Damien, we were playing with the Saw Doctors. And he says, what? And I said, we got together, we did a couple of songs, said Jimmy, Teenage Kicks and whatnot. And he says, well, if you get a young buck, we'll put a pile of dates together and we'll go off and tour to America. And I said, Dennis, you kidding me? He says, no, get a singer. So, I knew Paul because I was in a band with Paul called the Carolines. So I said to the other three guys, there's an offer to reform. If we can get a singer, would you be interested? And they said, yeah. So I asked Paul, and Paul said yes, and Paul's been with us. Paul's actually been with us longer than Fergal.
Yeah, but I think everybody, because I'm not sure what Fergal's doing now. I think at one time he was the head of the radio authority. I don't know if he still is.
Yeah, he had some involvement with that, and I think he was on an advisory board
on the radio. So we better be careful not to say too much anything rude about him. So that's it. Let's talk.
I wasn't going to say.
No, I'm talking about me. Really, it's me that I worry about. I'm the one who's likely to say something. Don't worry. What's your favourite song from the Undertones? Which would you say is your favourite song that you perform?
Wow, favourite.
There's a lot, isn't there? I mean, people forget how many hits you had. Here Comes the Summer, Jimmy Jimmy, My Perfect Cousin, You've Got My Number, Wednesday Week, just to name a few. I mean, there was a lot of great songs there. And I remember, I say, with great affection, I think the Undertones are possibly one of the most underrated punk bands.
Well, we are in some ways, and we are in other ways we're not. You know, we've managed to kind of hold them, carry the torch for the punk war, so to speak. But I mean, there's obviously bands like the Pistols and the Clash, and you could probably put on the Jam on the Buzzcocks. I mean, because they had huge hits and they're so influential. But we just kind of came in on the tail end of the punk thing, even though the punk thing was kicking off in the UK and it's getting all the press coverage. We were back in Derry, but Derry was more noted for the troubles because there was no culture of music really in Derry at the time. But it's just the way things happened. I'm very fortunate that people still want to know about the band. We can still play and we can still do shows. So after 40 years,
yeah, it's great.
Must have done something right.
Yeah, that's right. So which one of the songs that would you say is your favourite? Is there a particular favourite?
Well, one of the songs I would do is a song called "Dig Yourself Deep." It's a more up to date song. I actually quite like doing that. I think it's a very good song.
And that was done in that was from the album of in 2007. You did, yes.
Yeah, so I quite like doing that. And there's another song called "Recommend Me," and these are more songs. When I say newer, I mean they were done maybe 5 years ago, and I like doing those live. On the more stuff that people would know, probably like doing "Get Over You." "Get Over You" is very good live. And just get the crowd going.
Yeah, it's
a good song to drum to as well.
Because it's the drum, is it? Yeah. Okay. Is there a song that you wish you had written, played on, or recorded? Is there a song you think you listen to it on the radio, or you got it in your CD collection or whatever, and you think, God, I wish I'd written that?
Yeah, I mean, again, there's tons. But from a drumming point of view, there's a guy called Bobby Graham. He was a session guy. He's sadly passed away, but he drums on a Van Morrison track called Gloria. It used to be Bobby Graham and Jimmy Page, like Jim Sullivan. They were kind of like the session guys. But the drumming, any time that I may lose, not that it happens that often, but any time you might feel a wee bit down or think, what's the point? I put on Gloria, and it just absolutely tanks me back up again. It's not only such a great song, but the drumming on it is just incredible drumming. And thankfully, I managed to find out who the drummer was, and I got to speak to Bobby Graham. I mean, he's a serious session guy. I mean, he's drumming some of the biggest UK hits from the 50s right the whole way through. So I got to speak to Bobby Graham, and I was hoping that even though I spoke to him on the phone, that perhaps I could get to meet him. But sadly, he is in poor health, and sadly, Bobby Graham passed away.
Yes.
So,
it's not a great year.
There's another guy called Nick Tucker from Sweet, Ballroom Blue.
Oh, yes.
Great to have been. I mean, I'm not in the same standard as these guys, but, just for inspiration, these are good tracks. I mean, everything's perfect about it. It's just cool beats, terrific sound, very unique style. I'd love to have been on... these are some of the records that I do like. I mean, I'm only picking out two, but
well, that's enough. That's what I mean. You've just you mentioned it a little while ago. What do you do when you're away from the music business? You mentioned you used to do a bit of cycling and things like that. What do you do now?
Well, I have two dogs. I have two King Charles Spaniels, Cavaliers, Bobby and Graham, and they take up. Bobby and Oscar, which I'm down about. But I'm really into gardening. I've always been into gardening.
You love gardening?
And I've just recently built a house, and I'm actually doing my garden at the moment. So I'm into wildflowers and to try and plants that will attract on wildlife. And
really?
That's what I'm doing. That's absolutely consumes my time totally now at the moment, and I absolutely love it. I'm glued to the Chelsea Flower Show it's on at the moment.
Oh, do you? And you do still live around Derry?
Oh, yeah. I live in Derry, so does Michael, and so does John. Damien lives in London, and Paul lives in Dublin because he works on radio. That's based in Dublin. But, I can't ever see myself leaving home.
No,
I mean, my family and my friends are here, and I do like Derry.
Yeah.
It's a lovely city.
Yeah. I must admit, I've never had the pleasure of coming over there, and it's one of those places. My wife has been over to Ireland, and she said how lovely it is. She goes out, she went over there on business, and it's one of those places I've never been to, and it's one of those places I'm looking forward to visiting one day. If you know what I mean.
If you come over, you'll be very welcome. And saying that, I mean, we've been very lucky. We've travelled, extensively through our career.
Yeah.
But there's a place called Ards Forest Park, which is in County Donegal, and for me, it's one of the nicest places I've ever been to, and it's only maybe an hour's drive at the most from home.
Really?
And it's stunningly beautiful. It's very, very difficult to describe, but if you come over here, you'd be absolutely amazed. It's unfortunate because of the situation in Northern Ireland, with the troubles, and it overshadows, what we have here, which is such a beautiful island, the whole of Ireland.
Yeah, I've heard from my wife and from many other friends who've been over how lovely it is, and also, as you mentioned, the warm welcome. So if people are ever thinking about going over to Ireland, to Derry or around the area, there is a warm welcome there, and it's very true. I think they use it.
I do a good B&B rate, by the way.
Yeah, do you? Okay. All right. Well, I'll give you a call when I'm coming over. So that's good. Yeah. What would you like the Undertones to be remembered for?
The Undertones to be remembered for?
Yeah.
Wow. That's a difficult question.
I know. I like a nice, difficult question.
I wish I could give you an easy answer, but I don't really know. I suppose what comes to mind is that they're basically a good band.
Good tunes, I think.
A good band happens to be.
But
if I can answer that in a kind of a roundabout way, it's probably not the right comparison, but it's the closest I can get to the importance of particularly Teenage Kicks and the band. Whenever John Peel passed away, we were at the funeral at his hometown. Now, it's a small village, and we assembled in the church. Now, Robert Plant was behind me, and Jimmy Page. At a Led Zeppelin. So I'm thinking, I'm kind of out of my depths here. So the band were in a row on the aisle, and whenever they lifted John Peel's coffin, and they started walking John Peel's coffin down the aisle, they started playing Teenage Kicks. Now, when I was looking towards the coffin coming down, I could notice Michael. Michael had a lump in his throat, and I thought Michael was going to cry, but of course I couldn't look at Michael because that would have set me off. The thing was really surreal because John Peel was so important to us in our lives.
Yeah.
And the recognition that he had. So they play a record, and then for him to have the record, play it back to back, and then he's got it inscribed on his headstone, the lyrics from the track. But then we could hear the people outside singing the song as well. The people that couldn't get on, and it was the most surreal thing. So for a record to have that kind of impact on people, it's extraordinary because we never thought the record would ever get anything, that type of recognition. So in a way, I kind of got that recognition unfortunately at the funeral of John Peel.
Well, it's a bittersweet, really. It's a lovely story, but it's obviously very sad. John's no longer with us. He was. He broke many a band, and if you got, as you say, if you got on his show, you had something special. He broke many bands, and he could hear a good song mile away, couldn't he? And he was one of those icons. I think Tom Robinson's he's the closest guy we've got to doing it at the moment. He's on BBC Six, and he's picked up the mantle a little bit from John Peel. But John Peel was, even when I was a boy, I remember him playing, and the bands he played were the bands that went on to become big names.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, he was
what I should say too about John Peel is that we did a documentary about the band, and John Peel narrated the documentary. So he came over on a Friday and he stayed for the weekend. But whenever he arrived, we were thinking, how are we going to get on? How are we going to get into a conversation with John Peel? We haven't seen him in such a long time. What are we going to talk about? Will we have anything in common? And we were totally wrong. He just talked non-stop from Friday to Sunday until the day he left. I mean, talking about Jimi Hendrix, he was talking about the Beatles, talking about their own Stones. He just had huge knowledge, and he was in contact with all these people, and we were hanging on every word.